Welcome to A Conversation with Dinah.
This lovely woman always seems on the brink of laughter. Now, you would think offhand, right off the top, that she was one of the greatest opera stars, the greatest opera star this country has ever produced. Divas are made of serious, temperamental stuff, material, given to fix temper and tantrums, but she has never been like that. Have you, Beverly Sills?
You bet.
You have been or you have never been?
I've had my moments.
Good moments, bad moments?
Well, it depends who was receiving and who was getting.
I don't
There were good moments with me and sometimes not so good for other people.
I see.
I'll talk stuff from my own.
Sure. And what would get you really ticked off? Like,
When they didn't bow and straight when the prima donna came to the theater.
you hear that, group? Okay, sounds great. But now, you did have an interesting manifestation of your feelings. One time, I think it was your debut at La Scala in Milan, Italy.
They talk about it to this day.
Do they? They didn't take you seriously, did they?
Well, the thing is, when I arrived, I was replacing a pregnant Italian soprano who was the darling of La Scala, Renata Scotto.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a great old pal of mine. We were both very happy, she with her baby and me, that I was getting to make this debut. So I wanted everything to go very peacefully, and I learned my music, and I arrived, smiling. I wanted them to not right. Everything was perfect. And, Renata is 3 feet 3 with brown hair, and I'm a little bit bigger than I'm 3 feet 2 with red hair, and I walked in, and everything was going along fine. I went to the costume. And Renata, because of her coloring, had ordered a gold gown. I felt the gold looked really pretty with my red hair, so I went to Benoit, asked him to please change it to silver. He said, fine. So I kept going to the fittings, and every time I went, this lady with the black ribbon around her neck with the scissors would say, don't preoccupy yourself with this. You'll get the gown. And I got angry, but I kept smiling. And then they had a costume parade, which was about 2 days before the dress rehearsal. I've still not seen my silver gown. The costume parade means that these ladies walk across to see if there are any light problems.
Right. We have the,
she walked across, and there she's carrying a gold gown in my town. And I went over to her in my best Italian. I said to her, did I not ask you for a silver gown? She said, yes, signora, but don't preoccupy yourself.
Think about your things.
Let me have the gown. So I took the gown and I folded it up very carefully. And then I took this scissors from around the neck and I cut it right across the middle. And I said, you will now give me my silver gown. The chorus applauded. I mean, it was bravo. They were carrying on. I said, I'd done an aria. After it, I went up to the general director's office and said, what is that all about? Well, she said, we were all waiting to see how long you were going to put on this act.
How long?
That was the act. That was real.
That's for me. I'm grateful. And I'll be nice.
I got my silver gown. And, of course,
yeah, and
I had a little rapport.
Love you. Oh, you were a hit there. Oh, you liked Venice better than you did Milan.
Yeah, Venice is, I think, the most romantic city in the world.
Oh, yeah.
And where else do you go to work in a gondola?
Yeah.
And
did you?
Yeah. I was staying on the at Cipriani. And I took a gondola with Tommy Shepard. And
the conductor.
Yeah. And after the performance, we would go home by gondola, singing at the top of our lungs.
Opera stars just singing.
Just a gorgeous conductor and myself leaning back in the boat, eating, of course. Could I do anything happy about eating?
No, singing.
I just can't believe it.
Oh, yeah. But now, were you in Italy with Pavarotti?
No, I've only sung with Italian in this country. The engagement I canceled at La Scala was with Luciano.
But the
two of us were going to do a brand new production of Puritani. And he learned that they were going to take the Puritani from Bologna. So he phoned me and said that he was going to cancel because La Scala had promised us the new production wasn't.
The interesting thing about that, he used to cook for you on the road, and he would do pasta.
Yeah, it's an interesting chef, Luciano.
Luciano?
Yes, because he the way he would decide when the pasta was finished,
Al dente.
yeah, he would take his thing out and he'd just throw it at the wall or on the ceiling, and if it stuck, it was done.
It was done.
Can you think of all those hotel rooms with these funny little things sticking to the wall?
All I can think of is how often you were asked to leave. Yeah, well, I have a photo here. You know, opera stars, I think, of the same stuff, right? You played Shallow Man, a lot of. This is the first topless opera star photo.
Still needing to go on a diet.
Yeah.
Do I have a single picture?
That's the cutest thing I ever saw.
Yeah.
What do you mean? That's not plump. We'll be right back.
Sounds great. Join us on Video Gold.
Listen to that. That is the voice of Beverly Sills. Now,
That's the voice of whoever it was that used to be Beverly Sills.
did you used to be Beverly?
I used to be
Didn't
Beverly.
you used to be Beverly Hills?
Right.
Beverly Hills. What are you doing? Now tell me something. This is an opera, a long lost
Well, a
recording.
very funny thing, not so funny at the time. I went to record a Verdi album,
Yeah.
and I finished 5 of the 6 hours, and I got pleurisy. Pleurisy. And I was working for EMI, and they phoned my husband, who had refused. He said, only idiots go to London in January. And I had gone by myself, and he was right. I was idiotic. He had to fly over and get me, bring me back, and I went right into New York Hospital. It took me about 5 or 6 weeks to recover, and then I went on to other engagements. And I forgot all about the album, and in the meantime, I had changed contracts and gone to another organization with whom I went to work.
Another recording organization.
Another recording
Oh,
organization.
terrific.
And when this other recording organization decided to buy my whole collection from the first one, they made a deal. And it all arrived, and they sent me a listing of all the records that I bought. And it said, there was this album that they could not identify. It was unlabeled, and would I please listen to it? So they sent it, and I was very busy.
Oh, yes. Busy doing, you couldn't listen.
Wait. And one night I thought, oh, I better do this. They're probably waiting. I started this record, and I thought, oh, my gosh, that's me. And I couldn't remember a single thing. The arias were so rare, something from Il Corsaro, which nobody ever heard of.
And you finished it?
Finished it, and it came out like last year or 2 years ago, long after I was retired.
And it's
went right up to the top of the chart.
It's a series of it's called Verdi.
Yeah.
The Beverly
Sills and Verdi.
and Verdi. Oh, it's
That was
beautiful.
kind of nice to say.
Interesting thing, though, I've always been told singers don't talk much because they're saving their voice, right? We had dinner last night, you know, and we never stopped talking from the moment you got off the plane.
Or eating.
Or eating. That's true. That's true. Singers talk a lot. Singers eat a lot. I mean, you know, and singers are supposed to laugh, right?
Yeah.
Beverly is my house guest. I must tell you, there's been a lot of laughing and a lot of talking and a lot of singing. And I'm not singing, no, actually, it's just been, you did sing to me.
I can, yes, I do.
Yes, you did, bless your heart. But she doesn't get up in the morning and she doesn't, you know, like other people, and kind of open an eye. She gets up like she's shot out of a cannon, right?
Things to do.
Things to do. She starts gets out of bed at a running start. And there's no, I mean, is that the way you start at home too?
Yeah, I have a lot of energy.
Yeah, I know that. No kidding.
I can drive a lot of people crazy.
But
and
you never stop talking,
no,
really.
I never stop talking. My husband, when I wrote the book, he said that the title of it should be Walks and Talks to the Telephone. Because that used to be all I ever do. But I never, I didn't have any idiosyncrasies as a singer. I was just a wonderful, perfect lady.
Of course
I
you were.
just,
It's
walked through the whole profession of those crazy
Things
things.
just happen.
Right.
Just like that.
But I taught, you know something, and I'm very serious about this, that I felt talking warmed up my voice.
You're kidding.
I felt an awful lot of singers left their performances in the dressing rooms by constantly vocalizing.
Constantly vocalizing, but they didn't you feel you left a little bit of it at the lunch table while you were talking?
No.
No.
It relaxed me. I love to have people visit me in the dressing room.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to concentrate?
With me. You know, I felt that mothers should not be separated from them. And they brought in a little class, and she brought her coloring book. She brought the dog. There was a time where I was minding 2 dogs from the corridor. 2 dogs in the dressing room, including my own, and Muffy asleep on the couch, and people in and out like a railway station. I just loved it. It relaxed me.
But now this talking, that's not Peter's pet peeve or anything, is it?
Well, Peter has so many pet peeves.
Now, just a minute. Pet peeves with a perfect person.
Pet peeves with a what a wonderful name.
Pet peeves with a perfect person.
Pet peeves with a perfect person. Yes, I think any woman who is a performer or has been, not just has been,
no such thing.
can drive a husband crazy.
You think so?
Yes, I do. And
you don't think men should marry, performers?
Not if they have a choice. I just...
And they have no choice because we're so wonderful.
I never said a prayer. I decided I was going to marry, and that was the end of the choices.
And you said that's it. I adore him. And what's your pet peeve with Peter?
My pet peeve is Peter.
Pickle peppers. And besides picking a peck of pickle peppers.
Well, I have 2 things I don't like. He does. He flicks the television too fast, and I can't decide whether I like something or not.
Yeah, but that's very important. Okay, I know that.
That's part of my existence. You must be just fluffed it away.
Well, I'm not, because I know I've got control of the flicker, and I love that. Carol Burnett and I discussed that, but that's just one pet peeve. Everybody. And what's another pet peeve?
He puts the socks on at the edge of the bed.
He puts his socks on at the end of the bed?
It bothers me a lot. It bounces and moves around. Also, unfortunately, Peter went to the school of the cordon bleu.
Oh, yes.
So he cooked a bit.
I know that. I have a picture.
He doesn't believe, and we're married 33 years. And I've run a few houses in my time. I got 3 or 4 going now.
Yeah.
He doesn't believe I know how to cook. And so he'll say to me, if I'm making some sort of soup, don't forget to put cherry in it. So I put the cherry in it, and I leave the bottle, and I walk out, and he goes back in the kitchen, he says, never cooks enough. He put it in. Puts the bottle, he goes out, and I think, he is not going to like the amount I finished. So I put
more in.
You know, my guests are drunk.
By the first course, they're sweat to the gig. Okay.
That's how I cook to me.
We'll be right back with Beverly Sills. Won't we? That's Beverly Sills. That's pretty good singing, honey. Oh, that's beautiful. This is the cover of Time magazine, and I am impressed. This is not a story. This is a love piece. That fellow who wrote that and the editors of Time were madly in love with me. You know how lucky I am. I get on the cover of a magazine. I never thought I was a great beauty, but you know, I'm a nice-looking woman. Yeah. Why couldn't they just take a picture of me? I show that years ago when I show my grandchildren. Yeah. They say, look, Grandma was on the cover of Time. No, I'm ashamed to let them see this. No, Grandma got her hair shaved, and white makeup and lie. That's wonderful. It's a nice beard. Terrific. No, but you know, I listened to the album, and it really upsets me. First place, you were so busy doing, you didn't spend enough time with making albums, so there are not as many available as I'd love to hear. But you stopped too soon. Why, Beverly?
That's why. So that you could say,
oh,
it's
no.
too soon, why? Rather than when is a woman ever going to quit? Well, I just didn't want that to happen to me.
But it was not going to happen with you. People adored you, not only as a singer, as an actress. You were an actress singer.
Yes, Diana, you know, we set our own standards for ourselves. And even if you're not disappointing the public, if I didn't go home feeling that I had done something special, what's the point in going to the theater? I had, you know, I'd already made a fortune. I was the highest paid opera singer in the world for years. So the money, I couldn't keep on being driven by that. And now Peter's loading, so there was no drive there. I began to hear things in my voice that I didn't like. And I realized that I I would have to compromise and sing the whip stream of the repertoire instead of the meat and potatoes, which is what I had.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that role, that lady that's on the cover of that magazine, I sang my guts out all night
Sure.
for her. And I found I was doing comic roles. All of a sudden, little Barbara Seville and little Go to the Regiment.
Yeah.
It was little cutesy funny Beverly.
Yeah.
And it was not my thing.
Does it bother you to go to the opera now? It's a little painful. You miss it a little bit?
I miss singing. I don't miss performing so much. I'm not sure I'd like to get back in the middle of the ring and face the bull in every sense of the word.
Yeah.
I'm really not quite that tolerant anymore.
There's a picture of you in here kissing Muffy that I absolutely adore. I don't know if you can get this. Precious Muffy. You cut with it.
Oh, my gorgeous, adorable, beautiful,
gorgeous, precious Muffy. And she's now
30.
go.
Not married yet.
No, don't worry. She will. She's so beautiful.
She is beautiful. I don't know how this dainty child happened to me. I mean, here we are, two enormous horses, really.
Oh, please.
Peter's hardly dainty, and I'm anything but. And here's this size 2 child with these little hands. I've got a 9 shoe on. She's got 6.5, 7.
You don't have to tell them what size your shoe is.
Well,
Nobody will ever know. You played Madame Butterfly.
I didn't. I chickened out because I said I would be the biggest butterfly in captivity. I just you didn't do that at all. I was all set, and then I got so self-conscious, and especially when he says to her, "How old are you?" She said, 15 years old. I thought, forget it. I mean, I'm not going to do this.
Family. How many opera stars? Lily Pond.
I weighed more than Lily Pond when I was 4 years old. I mean, there's just a little belly button.
And but you did Salome, and you did a belly dance.
I did it, but belly dancers. I had it in those days. I had a good figure.
Yeah.
So belly dancing was fine. I played Manon, who looked right out of the audience. Yesterday at 17, I did it, and it was probably, if I'm remembered in this main role, it'll probably be as Manon. I won more awards as that silly little girl. But there were ways to play her because Manon was, she was a very interesting character in that she wasn't an immoral girl, she was amoral. And most amoral people are ageless.
Yeah.
So 17, there was so much living in that girl already that I could handle her. But butterfly is a little bird.
That's right.
Your fan was a little fan. It wasn't going to work for me.
We'll be right back with a teeny weeny Beverly Sills.
You could give the illusion.
Little bubble, the woman, Beverly Sills to be, with Major Bowes.
Yeah.
You went from Major Bowes. Had you met Mrs. Liebling, your voice teacher?
He sort of set it up, so I must have just met her about that time. I was on the cover of a magazine, very enticing lady. My mother took me to see it.
Because you were singing after the Jalakursi records that your mother played.
That's how
you were singing what?
I had memorized 22 arias that were on my mother's record.
22 arias.
When I went to audition for Miss Liebling, who thought the audition was for my mother. She looked at my mother and she said, I don't teach little girls. I don't even know any little girls. But I auditioned for her and she burst out laughing and I burst out crying. Nobody ever laughed at me before. But
So she laughed because she couldn't believe this little tiny thing where the voice would be coming out of there with spectacular language.
And then, of course, I told Kano that I was singing just like Jalakursi. I think I really made her laugh. And she was Jalakursi's teacher.
She was?
Yeah. Oh, it was a remarkable relationship.
You were going to be an opera star, not an opera singer.
Yeah.
And this opera star was Mrs. Liebling, as your friend forever. You were married on that same little rug where you learned how to talk.
There was a big circle in the middle of the person I was in town. And when I used to take my lesson, because I fidgeted so, she made me stand in that.
Absolutely still.
Still, yes. show you that was sort of a cage for me. There's something ironic about being married in that little cage. So you think I know some idea of something to come.
I tell Peter, you said, well, we have to go. I want to, there's so much I want to, you talked about Muffy is working now. Where is she working?
She's working for the New York Telephone Company, and she's about to become a personnel manager for the hiring of the handicapped.
The hiring handicapped, she works for the telephone company?
Yes.
But Muffy doesn't see it.
But they have very special equipment, and it will be her job to get the public aware of the equipment that is available for people who don't hear. And there are certain wonderful jobs that are available in the communications company.
And Muffy will find them.
Right, and of course it's not only for the hard of hearing, there are all kinds of handicaps.
Sure.
And that will be her job.
You work very hard for that.
It's my finest job. When I
Promotional consideration provided by